Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And I'm getting back into working on this animation right here, this fight animation that I've been working on. So I'm just doing like the little skeleton, and then I'm gonna go back over and add detail. And I do want to apologize because I just feel like I've been not necessarily lazy, but more so like, let me move my coffee mug. But more so like I've just been trying to get back into my groove of things. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit difficult because I've been streaming for a while, haven't been getting much success, and then like I just feel really pushed and moved to get back into streaming. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I tried to work a little bit while I was offline, but I am in fact scared of falling back into that same mode of only animating and only drawing when I'm streaming. I feel like that's a really bad habit that I developed, not necessarily early on, but definitely when I was streaming regularly. So right here I'm working on the foot because this character she shifts from a more battle ready stance to using her power. So I want to capture that in this. And I am using what I learned from analyzing Monty Ohm's animations. Obviously, I can't really do that camera work. I do feel as though, not that there's anything wrong with taking my time in animation, but it does feel like I may not get the animation done in the time I plan and desire to get it done. So she's moving from this battle ready stance to a more proper and upright stance. So what I have to do is I sort of have to draw the in between, or rather the middle structures of where her body is meant to be. So I'm sort of drawing circles where the hands as well as where the shoulders are going to be. And that's sort of how I end up structuring my work because it really is different for everybody. Most animators, they try to, not necessarily try to, but they each have different preferences of how they want to go about in betweening their scenes. And to me, it just feels like in betweening can be just this really fun sort of puzzle of like, how do I structure my character? How do I go from one scene to the next? How do I build this I guess you could say conglomerate would be terrible. But how do I build this structure of a person in my art? And it's really fun for me because it feels like I'm working on a puzzle. Like life is just one big puzzle that I have to sort of draw and capture. Now, I do feel as though I probably could have drawn. The head can come down a little bit more. So let me actually erase this. Now, when it comes to her leg right here, I do in fact want to foreshorten the foot a bit more because she's picking up her foot to go behind her leg. Let me actually turn off the onion skin real quick. Now, I do have the benefit of this being animated on a 1. So essentially, that means that in animation, you have ones, twos, or threes. And so certain keyframes are going to be either 1 frame long, 2 frames long, or 3 frames long. And sort of in animation, you have to play with that timing just to get a sort of either a natural progression from scene to scene or more so like a quick progression. Because there are moments and times where one scene may be faster or slower than the other. Because when you're animating multiple objects or multiple things in your animation, you do sort of have to play with your timing. And what I end up doing is I end up staying on the onion skin a bit too long just because I really want to make sure that you see right here, the foot is meant to be right here because this is where the first knee is and it's where the second knee is, so it needs to be in a more central area, like right here. And then this leg is right here, and this leg is right here. So this thigh, well, this lower leg needs to be somewhere in the middle, about right here. And because of foreshortening, where the foot is coming up, I sort of have to draw the back of the foot up a little bit, and then the tip of the foot raising. And so then I can turn off the onion skin. Now the chest is a bit too big. I wasn't really paying attention. And that's on me because I'm just trying to get the impression of the body. Sometimes I can mess up. I try not to give too much detail to certain body parts while I'm in this in-betweening phase. I just like to capture the impression of the body. rather than the body itself. And I sort of like to use this box shape when it comes to my female characters and female models. Um, Now, I do in fact want to play this animation just because I may have to stretch it out. That's a bad habit I've developed where sometimes I will do all this animation and then it comes out like really fast. Like this could be slowed a bit more and I could add a few more frames to it. So what I will end up doing is moving all of this down. Now I am going to add a keyframe just because fundamentally this is meant to be her attack. So what my intention was to erase this because I'll be animating the effects on a separate layer and I don't want to get distracted or distract you, my viewer. So what we can do now now this can be animated on a third. This frame right here can be a 6 because it is meant to be paused on this frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I am gonna have to add two more frames just so it can be almost like a slow ease, I want to say. And again, I'm using my guiding lines. It's going to be about right here. And so in my mind, I'm just doing a lot of constructive, I want to say guesswork, so I can build the idea or concept of the body to allow me to sell the idea or impression of the body shifting from one state to the next. Now, I will say that this project in particular, it has a dual nature. For one, what I'm seeking to do and what I desire to do is to actually build my skills in regards to more action focused animation. But also, in that same vein, I do want to work on my foreshortening skills because I do have this issue where really my animations just need more refinement, I would say. Like, I'm a decent animator. You can always be better as an artist. But my intentions and desires are to grow. And so, in order to grow, what I need to do is develop my skills. Because I have done like freelance stuff before. Mainly, I've like edited pictures for the museum where I work at. And I've also done like kids' coloring sheets. But like, I guess it's just really been a slog in the work department because my entire goal is to be an animator. And so my desire and my long term plan is, in fact, to, well, one day I would like to open my own animation studio. But for right now, I know I need experience. I need experience. I need to grow on my skills. Sometimes I have my doubts where it feels like I don't know, maybe no one will hire me. Or like maybe my skills as an animator just haven't hasn't been growing and developing despite everything I do and try. Because I want to make my own stuff. I want to do my own work. I want to grow and develop. And one day I do want to make my own cartoons, make my own stuff, but and like I'm very thankful. Like thank God that I'm even able to get this far to want to pursue anything in the creative field. But I still find myself both lacking and wanting. And so I guess I have to ask myself, do I even have the right to want? Do I have the right to continue this dream I have, even though I mean, I can't lie, like, I'm an older man. I mean, I'm 26. Well, I'm 25. I'm 25. It's not August yet, so, like, I'm 25. I still have yet to find any work in the industry. It's very competitive, so when I do apply to jobs, I'm getting rejected. And so it's like, is that what God has planned for me? And then why would God put it in my spirit to pursue art and to pursue creativity if, in that same vein, I haven't really had much success? And so then I found the choice to pursue animation freelance and to try to get more into social media. And I'll have highs and lows where I'll get a lot of views, but then also in that same vein, not many subscribers. And I'm never going to be doubtful. Like, I'm never going to be ungrateful, rather, and say, like, oh, this isn't enough. Like, the fact that I have 400 subscribers in general is a miracle because I'm sure there are other people who are struggling just as much or even more than I have. But I guess it just gets to a point where you've been working so hard with little success and you choose not to follow trends. Like, I think that's the whole crux and core of myself as a creator is I choose not to follow trends. I choose to stream my process. I'm not necessarily trying to be like a what's it called? I'm not trying to develop parasocial relationships with my fan base, but I do in fact just want to be real with myself and real with other people. Like, I'm not about to have a live stream where I'm just walking around my city or going on food vlogs. I feel like I'm not even that big enough to even do that to where it would be viable. But I do in fact want to have people say, you know what? He's a good artist, he's a good storyteller. He has a lot of potential and passion. He just needs the right audience, or he just needs that one person to take a chance on him. That's really what I've been waiting for and what I've long desired is to just find one person who's going to take a chance on me. And as a person of faith, I always assumed that there was the chance, even if it is slim, to have that one person to take a chance on me. But even then, little success, little accolades. But I'm not here to complain. I'm here to get my story out there and focus on my art. And I mean, really, that's all I can say is what I lack in everything else, I make up for in passion. Like, I'm a very passionate person because at my core, I want to succeed. At my core, I want to make my family proud, my loved ones proud. Like, that's what keeps me going, even when I fail, even when it feels like just nothing is working. I mean, I haven't given up all my hope. Do I want to be better? Yes, definitely. I think there's not a person in this world who doesn't want to be better than they were yesterday. But sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes it gets really hard to just want to keep going and want to keep trying. And I'm not gonna lie, there were moments and times where I had like really bad envy. And I was like, how can this person have grown so much in just a matter of a few weeks? They're this big name brand, and then me, who I've been trying to do my thing for like going on 4 years now, and I'm still so small. I'm still so small. And then you get into escapism and escapism content where it's like, and like so many different creators do this where they say, like, oh, your blessing is coming, and oh, the world is going to shift. And I'm not necessarily going to say that it's false to listen to hope content, because hope content gives you the little extra push to just keep going one more day. But it comes a point where it's just, how much longer do I have to go? And am I doing something wrong? Or am I just meant to be an NPC in this world? Because it's almost like I guess one could say cognitive dissonance. Or not necessarily cognitive dissonance, but more like a reality not matching up with everything you've been told. Because faith will say, like, oh, you gotta work hard and you can't just sit on your ass and do nothing. But it comes to a point where, okay, at what point do I finally get what it is that I've been promised? Because it's not for a lack of trying. Like, I've been trying, I've been working hard. But sometimes it feels like, I want to be very careful with what I say. Because sometimes I want to voice my doubt, but then I guess voicing my doubt may lead to ire or may lead to even worse consequences. That's its whole own can of worms that has to be parsed and given attention to. Because is it wrong to feel doubt, or is doubt a human experience? Is it okay to doubt? Is it okay to voice your doubt? Or does even speaking doubt lead to further ire and further travesty? Now, I do want to slow this frame down. Sometimes it feels like there's so many things I want to do and achieve, and there's still not enough time. Like there's a deadline that has to be reached, or the pressures of other people. And then, right when I'm close to succeeding or close to getting towards something that I want, failure is right around the corner. A thousand things to do in a day, and not enough time to do them all. But then, in that same vein, I guess that's why I was made the way that I am. Like, it's like I can say that whereas everyone else has all these stories of like God saving them and so many great things happening to them, it's not necessarily that God hasn't worked for me, but it's more so like whereas things are cut out for everybody else, and I guess maybe the rules apply to everybody else. In my case, it's like literally nothing has gone my way. And so now I have to figure out if that's just God's desire for me or if there's meant to be something, maybe not special, because I don't want to fall into that thinking I'm a main character, because I don't think I'm some sort of main character. But I do think that whereas everybody else has deliverance and there's just been one moment where things finally go right for people, I guess I'm more so determined to be a journey. Like my life is meant to be a journey, and so coming out of it, maybe just maybe what I go through is meant to help others. But I can't help but feel like a freeloader to everyone. Like that's just how I feel. Is sometimes I feel like I'm a freeloader even though I don't want to be. Like I feel terrible at being such a failure. And so then I'll pray and I'll be like, God, just let something right happen for me one time. If you're saying that it's bad for a man to not have a job, and if you're saying that it's bad to not work, like I want to work, I want to be successful, but then it's like I'm not getting success in anything I'm doing. So at what point do I finally have success or fruits of my labor? Because the advice doesn't work for me. And then, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bunch of comments saying, like, oh, give it to God, and have you done this? Have you done that? And what are you not doing right? And it's something of your folly. And it's like, look, I've tried everything, I've done everything, I followed all the advice, I've had people pray over me. But at some point, it just feels like, maybe there are no plans for me. Maybe I'm just meant to do nothing but be a failure. And that's a horrible thing to say, and that's a horrible thing to feel, because I do have this, I guess one could almost call it a split dichotomy within myself where I'm hopeful for the future. I want good things to happen. I want to achieve great things. But then at what point do I say, okay, well, after that, does God have any intentions or plans for me? Or is there anything that I'm meant to do that maybe I just haven't gotten the sign? Or maybe there really are no plans for me, but It's really terrible. Like it's really terrible because I want to achieve many great things. I want to do great things, but like I know my role and position in the world. Because a really big folly is that people fall into this, especially if you're a man or woman of faith, people fall into this false idea or false concept where you only think you're supposed to be in the church. And like, I may get some flack for this, but like, the church is just one place. Okay? Like, the church is just one place, and people haven't figured out, okay, like, after Jesus comes back, after all this stuff that's meant to happen in Revelations happens, like, at what point, like, is the afterlife just gonna be a bunch of people constantly learning from each other? Because everybody wants to be the preacher, everybody wants to be the teacher, everybody wants to be the prophet and share knowledge, but okay, what's outside of that? When you finally do get caught up in the sky and go to this eternal place, do you honestly, genuinely think that people are just going to be learning from each other all the time? That it's just constant learning, learning, learning. Like a kingdom of teachers does not a kingdom make. And it's supposed to be this kingdom where in actual society, we have writers. In actual society, we have artists, we have carpenters, we have builders, we have people who work in administration, we have pencil pushers and bookkeepers and writers and all this other stuff. So then why is everyone's go-to option to just, oh, I'm just going to teach people. I'm going to constantly teach people. And you can't teach people forever. At some point, you have to get down and you have to get dirty and you have to build things and you have to make things and you have to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Like you gotta, like you actually gotta work. You can't just be teaching people constantly. That's not creation. That's not life. That's not what you're supposed to do. So I consider myself self-actualized because I know I'm not supposed to be a teacher. I know I'm not supposed to be in some pulpit speaking on 100 different things. I'm more inclined to art. I'm more inclined to storytelling. I'm more inclined to using the creativity and artistic ability that God Himself bestowed within me to want to and to desire to tell amazing and beautiful stories. Because I'll just be honest, like, it's like stories live in my mind. It's like 1 minute I'll think of this character who's like this hermit who uses herbs and who writes storybooks and preserves knowledge and he like lives in the desert and like, or I can make entire worlds where it's like this amazing story about a princess who's going around saving 12 princes from an evil tyrant that took over the world. Like it just comes natural to me. Like creativity comes natural to me and I just have so many different stories I want to tell. I have this one story I've been brewing on and it's about this family of like prophets who's like a grandfather, a father and a son, and like their whole thing is like they have different miracle powers. And so the grandfather, like he's this old man, like he's very wizened and he goes around like killing demons and slaying monsters. And then it's like his son, who is more so like who was never really into sort of like the spectacle of it, like he just wanted a normal life, And then you have the grandson who is all into it. He's all into like the magic of the world, and he's all into like these special powers that he gets blessed with. And it's really just this multi generational, like, family story about family history and bridging gaps between generations. And that's just something that I've been ruminating on for like a long time that I've wanted to do. But it's like so many different stories and things I want to create just come so natural to me that it can't be that I'm not meant to do anything with this. And so then it becomes, if I was given such creativity where I can tell stories, and it's almost like telling stories comes natural to me, then what do I do with it? If storytelling comes natural to me and I have all these stories I want to tell, and it feels like, God himself has, I guess one could say, bestowed upon me the gift of storytelling and wanting and being able to imagine and string together all these different stories and spiritual concepts for worlds and understandings and all this other stuff, then why is it that I'm just a person who is stuck working one part time job, and I've applied to thousands of jobs and not gotten anything? And people have given me a bunch of different advice and different things to do. Work as a work as a temp, okay? I put in like 100 different temporary job applications, and I either get ghosted or nothing comes from it. Okay, so being a temp, that didn't work. The government needs a lot of people working for them, okay? I applied to several different government jobs and they ghost me as well. I try the private sector. They ghost me as well. Or they give that generic, we found other candidates that closely fit your position. Okay, so being a temp, working for the government, that didn't work. Go back to college. I want to, but then I'd get into more debt. And then just because I go back to college does not mean that I will get a job in my new degree. Okay, go to trade school. And people say that We need more people in trades. We need more black people in trades. But that is what the older generation said about black people getting degrees and just the youth in general getting degrees. Because y'all told people to go to college, get a degree in something that you like or something that you love, but then you have no intention or desire to hire these people to these jobs. So then, why would you then tell someone to go to a trade if you yourself have no intention or desire to hire anyone for trades? Because you can say, like, oh, yeah, go into the trades, but who's gonna pay these people for trades? Like, you're just throwing things at the wall like us young folks are throwing things at the wall. And then by the time we do go to get trades, you already have your one or two people that you trusted. Because here's the thing about going into the trades, and I'm going to say this: people find their one or two mechanics and plumbers. People find a place, area, location where they like that handyman, and they only go to that person. And they don't try anything else. They don't go to anyone else because they've already built up a rapport with that one handyman, with that one carpenter, with that one plumber. And then if you have a big family, because this is something that my family does, is if you have a big family, chances are you are going to have that one family member that works in the trades. Like, that's just a given. I have one uncle who is an all arounder, so he works on cars. I have another uncle who is a carpenter. So then, and I think it's just a big business model. It's a big business model to sell hope to people, even though there's no guarantee that that hope is going to pan out. It's like some people get some sort of sick, twisted enjoyment or happiness in selling hope to people, but they have no intentions of following through on their end of the bargain. Because if you're telling people to go out and get trades, then by definition, you then have to hire that person or find some means of sustainability for that person. You don't just tell someone to go get a trade and then you have no intentions or desires of putting that person on. That's why we have so many different people who are college educated, but they can't find any jobs. Because what happened was Gen X and millennials told them to go to college to get a degree in something that they liked, and now the market is already saturated, so everybody has degrees and people have their pick of the litter. But those same people that told folks to go to college and get degrees then are not hiring people with those degrees. They want someone with experience. And I hate to say it, but like, the world is just messed up. And the world is going to be messed up till Jesus himself returns. And that's just how I feel. And that's just how things are going to turn out. Because there's a lot of people lying. There's a lot of people withholding information. There's a lot of people telling folks what to do and giving them advice with no intention or desire to actually tangibly help those people. So many people in this world are just fake. So many people in this world are just fake, terrible people that do not practice what they preach. Which is why I personally will never speak out on how someone chooses to live their life. Never. Never, never, never. I'll never say you're not living right, you're doing something wrong, because if the world was right, if the world was fair, then I'd likely have my own 2D animation studio by now, making shows with different black characters and different other characters, and then I just be finding good. But that's not how that turned out. I wanted to go into freelance, and because the older generations, they always say, oh, do for self, make your own business. Well, I have my degree in digital media. I do video editing. I do graphic design. All you're saying, do for self, make your own business. Well, I've been advertising my freelance services. So if there's any businesses, especially any black businesses that need a logo or need business cards or need social media banners, or if they have footage and audio and they need someone to clean it up for them and edit videos for them, like that's me. That's what I can do. I can help people's social media and like just do general digital media stuff for them. But then it's like there was no traction. There was no assistance. There was no help. There was nobody acting on the services I provide. The services I provide. So then it's like, okay, at this point, well, y'all are just talking out your ass, not doing anything because you're telling folks to do this, do that, essentially throwing stuff at the wall like I am, and you're saying all this stuff, but you have no intentions of doing anything. And then you constantly get all these different social media comments and replies and posts saying, oh, get off social media. We need our own. We need to do this. We need to do that. Well, I can tell you from experience. My university, I went to East Carolina University. There was about black people in the thousands who were in different art related and programming related majors. I know black people who are graphic designers, who are web designers, who are programmers, who are engineers, XYZ. And the community will be quick to say that we need our own this, we need our own that, but then you don't even put on the thousands of black men and black women who graduated from these positions, who can code our own apps, who can make our own content online, who can engineer our own stuff. Like, you're just speaking out your ass, but you have no intentions of actually helping and assisting these people. Like, you're fake. You're fake. You're just talking. And it comes to a point where here's how it goes. Here's how it's applied. People are sick and tired, so they can complain and talk about issues and want things to be better. But people are not sick and tired of being sick and tired to actually stand up and do the work that's necessary. And that's the thing, is it's not all on black people. It's not all on marginalized people. There is systems in place, powers in place, like there is institutionalized racism, but in that same vein, you're not helping the situation. There's things that you could be doing as a person to not exacerbate the situation. And people keep wanting to make things black and white. It's all institutional racism, or it's all because black people just don't want to get up. Like, no, there's shades of gray. Two or more things can be true at one time. Yes, institutional racism does exist, but in that same vein, there's thousands of black people graduating from jobs who you're just not helping in any way. And even if you don't have the money to give them, at the very least, you can give a job reference. At the very least, what you can do is share their resume or network with them. Or if you know someone who has their own business, you can put them on and say, like, hey, there was this young man or this young woman I met who they say they're a graphic designer. I've seen their stuff. It's pretty good, or it's pretty decent. They just need some work. Like, can you give them a job? Or if you need any, like, social media stuff, have this person handle it for them. And y'all don't even do that because there's thousands of black people who are still unemployed, or they're working for, air quotes, the YT man, and then you want to get upset and say, like, oh, you shouldn't be working for them folks, you're a sellout, you're this, you're that, but you never help them in general to ingratiate them to want to work for their own people. And It's a double-edged sword. That's all I can say, and that's all I can keep saying is it's a double-edged sword because everyone who's been to college, who's been to upper learning, they all go through a pro black phase or a pro their racial group. Everyone has their own civil rights progressive age and era. But what happens is the older generation does not act on that momentum. The perfect moment and the perfect time to be pro your group is when your youth is in that pro group era, is in their civil rights era to want to help their own people. But what happens is the older generation just wants to be that wise sage that sits on the porch. They don't actually want to give their younger generation a reference or exchange the word of mouth for their younger generation. They just want to take credit for being that wise uncle or that wise auntie or grandmother who was sitting on the porch. And then when the young folks came, they gave this whole big speech about greatness and doing for self and achieving great things and yada yada yada. And they think that their words alone are supposed to push people to just magically want to develop and build their own stuff and make big business, whatever. But words don't do anything. You actually have to get up and help these people. You have to give them references. You have to spread the word of their work. You have to be that middleman, that middlewoman that shares the information. You don't just get off, you don't just find success by being the wise man. The wise man has to get up and work. The wise man has to share information. Even if you don't have the money to spend or don't want to spend money, there's still thousands, several thousand different things that you could be doing that you're just not doing. And I could be an activist. I could be an activist. I could be talking about this issue, that issue. I could be going on and saying, like, oh, we need this, we need that. But in that same vein, taking it back to me being a self actualized person, like, I know that I was not made to be an activist. I was made to be an artist. That's how God has me set up. So, I mean, I guess I'll share my knowledge where I can. I'll expose things where I can. I'll share information and do certain things where I can. But for the most part, my job is to tell stories and to keep hope alive. That's at least what I see, and that's what I can parse and understand is my job is to keep people's hope alive. You know, I've been talking and I don't even know if my chat is on or live right now. If people have been commenting or not. Let me actually pop out my live chat and make sure this is up to date. Because I think I'm seeing words right here. Or, no, that just may be the web page. I think that's it. I think that's good. Uh, but yeah, I just had my moment to vent because that's just a regular thing for me. Is sometimes I get convicted. Sometimes I feel like saying something or calling on something and saying like, "Hey, we need to do better. Things need to be better." Things are multifaceted issues that just nobody wants to work on or do anything about. It's stressful. That's all I can say is it's stressful because you see potential and you see how things can be better. And when you try to share that, it's almost like you're screaming into a void. It's a curse to be a visionary and it's a curse to have hope. But hope amidst despair is how you keep going. And so then what happens or what am I supposed to do when I have hope and when I have a vision, but no one is listening? Which is why I guess I've also chosen to pursue art and pursue creativity because even though I do have hope and I do have a vision, maybe I'm just not meant to be overt with that vision. That maybe I'm meant to use my art and use my artistic ability to give people a snapshot of what is possible so that they can keep going another day. But then, in that same vein, how does that separate me from all these other channels and all these other creators that are more overt with their provision of hope? What makes me different? What makes me special? Then I'm giving people hope, but am I not being proactive? A thousand different thoughts running through my head. So much to do, not enough time. Hoping for something that is not assured. I want to play this animation just because. You know what I can do is actually hide this character in the background right here. Just because I really want to focus in on her. You see, I have the overall structure of how she's moving, but it's not, but it's scene to scene and it's not necessarily organic. So I think what I'm going to do is add a frame right here. And I essentially want to add more flow or emotion to this. So there's going to be just very slight adjustments. Honestly, when it came to my rant earlier, I'm not necessarily externalizing blame, like that solves nothing, blaming other people for your problems. But I will say that in my life, I guess things could have just been better, or I was hoping that things would be better than how they actually turned out. Because at the end of the day, all I really want is peace. Like, is that so wrong to just want peace and to want to make your family and those who count on you or will eventually have to depend on you proud? Because all I can say is I feel responsible. Like, I feel responsible that because so many people have prayed for me, wanted me to be successful, wanted me to achieve great things, I then feel like I have to be successful and I have to achieve so much. But because, despite working hard, dreaming big, and for the longest time trying and attempting only to fail, is it that God has no intentions for me and that I'm just meant to be an NPC in creation to achieve nothing and just freeload and mooch off of those around me? Or does God actually have plans and I just haven't been patient enough? But it feels like I've been patient forever. It feels like I've been patient forever. And at what point does my patience bear fruit? At what point do things finally go right for me? But in the end, I'm really just raving into a void. Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's good to get these feelings I have out. And I would say that for anybody. Like, don't hold all your negative emotions in, get them out and express them. Because if you do sit on all the negative things that you're dealing with, eventually you may just destroy yourself. And that would be a cruel end to anybody's story. You see, it's right here. Right here. I need to draw another frame in between this just so I get that natural curvature. And so, because this is on a fourth, or actually, what I'll do is You know what's funny? A lot of animators they say like, "Oh, animate the body first and then do the head." But because I'm going for a more humanoid art style instead of stylized, like I kind of have to draw the head first because it gives me an I because it gives me an idea and a sense of the proportions of the body. I say that, but I just recalled that like earlier I just finished drawing and doing the whole animation, this whole frame without drawing the head once. It's because my mind automatically imagines and finds the head, so then I can afford to not draw it. That's not a flex, but it's like, I guess one could say a bit of an irony. And that's another funny thing. It's like, even when parts of the body are covered, I still draw the whole entire motion. Paint behind. Now then. Ooh, it's been like an hour and 25 minutes. That's actually really good. I'm making some really good time. Hmm. That's actually rather nice and rather good. I have been watching other content creators and I've been trying to figure out ways to like make my animations better as well as just grow on my channel. And so like they've been saying like, "Oh, make sure you have all these features and make sure you write a description of your channel so that's easier for people to find." And I'm not going to lie, I did go up a few views. That's pretty good. Oh yeah. Road to 500 subs. That's in the prompt of this video, this live stream. But essentially, my plan and desire is when I reach 500 subscribers, I'm going to have a special 5 hour long live stream where it's just me working on an animation, chatting. I think I'm gonna do like a special segment where I do like a Q&A. The Q&A was supposed to be for my 1,000 subscribers, but I just decided to change my mind and be like, okay, well, since I haven't been streaming or doing anything in such a long time, let me just combine it into one and I'll do something else for my 1,000 subscriber special. Or I guess I could host another Q&A. Now let's play this animation and see how it looks. Now, what I'm doing is I'm working on timing because there's a special flow that comes with animation. Now, I think what I want is for this to actually become a 3. Now, I do have to time this. Now, I think what I want to do for this is actually move this up. And then I can move this about right here. Timing. That's really what. Ooh, I had to stretch a little bit. Excuse me. I don't know if y'all can hear my joints cracking, but timing is what sells the scene. Now, I may in fact need to slow this down just because there's like so much happening. And like this first half a second, I may in fact want to lengthen this so people understand what's going on. And I have a lot of work room, but still. Decision. Things to do and work on. Let's see the whole animation now. Now, yeah, what I can do is actually lengthen this. Because right now, like, this can actually be extended to. Yeah, this whole segment could be like 2 seconds long instead of one. I can always edit it and see. That's actually pretty good. It needs some work and polish, but for the most part, it's workable. Insert frame here, insert frame here, and insert frame here. I got an email from my boss. And I also got a newsletter. Ah, yes. There is supposed to be a design impact grant. Essentially, they're asking for residents, nonprofits, businesses, and community groups to apply. Basically, fund and find a way to get more people to come to different areas of the city. And honestly, we have the bus transit. Like, they could be like having a small reel of different. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna see if we can. I got an idea. I'll probably apply to it, but So I think what's going to happen is, so this character, she shoots a wall of foam, but the enemy dodges. This character, she readies a energy blast and she shoots it. That hits. He stumbles and he falls. Now this character is getting ready to attack, and she's just cooling down from an attack, but they're going to get caught off guard, and he's going to charge up a powerful attack. And I think what I'm going to animate is her sort of stumbling or like getting caught off guard. And she's going to ready her defenses. And she's going to sort of try to step in. And then that's when I'm going to animate like a camera panning. And this character, all the way from the beginning, he's going to reappear and sort of like intercept the attack before it has a chance to hit. Essentially, it's going to be a lot to draw and a lot to animate. But I'm ready for it. It's my passion. It's my desire. It is my goal in life. I'm thinking, because I have to figure out how this is going to go. I guess what I can do is animate this character first. Yeah, I'll animate her first. So what I want is for her to she's going to look down. I'm trying to figure out where this hand is supposed to go. I guess I can sort of have it going in like a little. Now, for this other character, I think what I'm gonna have happen is she's sort of gonna be getting ready to launch another attack. Now, for this keyframe, I think what I'm gonna do is this character is going to notice the oncoming attack, whereas she is going to be late. So it's gonna be like a quick blink and you'll miss it frame. Or actually, no, I could probably animate that on a 2. For now, what we're gonna do is erase this. So let's see here. I'm trying to sort of imagine how her body is going to move, because what happens is, because her foot is in front and she's going to notice the attack, she would actually have to move from this foot over here. And that's going to have to require her to sort of do this body repositioning motion. And I'm actually going to have to draw the spine, because there's a very specific way in which her body moves. Now, a good thing is that I can always just go back and sort of add more detail or refine the sketch art. But for the sake of at least this rough in betweening phase right here, I can just sort of freehand it real quick. I think I want to move this layer to the top just so there's no color clipping. So this character moves in, she shoots a wall of foam, he dodges. This character shoots an energy blast. It hits him in the shoulder. He's reeling back. This character's getting ready for another attack. Sees that he is readying another attack. She steps in to sort of protect her friend. And that's pretty much how the animation is going to go. And then after this segment, I'm going to do another camera pan. Or maybe a cut to where her shield is breaking. And then that third character from the beginning, he sort of comes in and saves them. But it's been like, what, 2 hours, 17 minutes? That's actually a really good time. I do want to animate this character sort of reeling back or maybe like losing her footing. It was a bit of a rush job. That's why I like working zoomed in, because then it gives me the chance to draw all the smaller details instead of doing like a quick shorthand. It's almost been 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to do too much because I do want to give my brain some time to rest and think. And then there's also a few more house chores I need to do and take care of. So that'll be it from me. I do hope you all enjoyed the live stream. I think I'm going to loop my animation so far so you guys can see like what I've done and what I've been working on, because this has been quite a lot. And I'm very excited to work on some animations again, getting my passion up enough to stream again. So yeah, definitely there's going to be a lot of slow lead up in this animation, but for the most part, that's pretty much the roadmap for this story. Not really story, but like for this certain project, because I do want to work more on my action and I just want to work more on fast paced animation in general. It was nice to get some more work done on this and see how far I've come. I do hope you all enjoyed and liked it. I will definitely animate some more in my free time. And so, what I'm going to do is take a break, handle some house chores. Tomorrow, in fact, may be like a special night stream I do. But for the most part, that's it for today. Because I don't want to saturate too much of your guys' time. I know you guys got other stuff to do. And that was just a nice listen to while you were at your break or at lunch or what have you. Um, yeah. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art, and I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream or art post. See you guys in the next one. Bye.